everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Monday Mojo. And we have, I think this is the best Mariners team I've ever witnessed,
I'm stoked.
I'm stoked, man. I think that the curse is ending this year. The streak is breaking. The drought is ending, I guess, for, much better terms there. We're definitely going to make the playoffs. We're definitely going to go deep into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And we're definitely not, one of the worst teams in baseball right now.
Not even close. I mean, you look at this team and average wise, they're 25th on base percentage. We're sitting at 15th, which is actually, right in the middle. Home runs were also at 15th. That's pretty good. All signs are good for this team.
All signs are great.
No. We're joking. We are completely down in the dumps. We hate this Mariners team. I mean, I love the guys. I love Scott. I love Jerry. But, man, nothing has turned out the way that we expected. And people want to blame Scott. I look at it, the new acquisitions that Jerry acquired, no one could have thought that they would be doing what they're doing right now. I mean, you bring in a guy like Jesse Winker, who's a line drive hitter. He was one of the best right fielders last year, right fielder, I think, for the Reds he played. Anyways, against right-handed pitching, he was one of the best in the league. And then, I mean, he's coming here and he hasn't had a good week. I mean, it's been a season-long slump. Adam Frazier, you can say the same thing. I know as a player, he's had stretches where he's gone, and hit 330 for 2 weeks. And then he does have these slumps, but he's been mostly a slump. I mean, he's not a 230 hitter, but that's what it says he is right now. And then Robbie Ray, the other acquisition, he started to turn it around. Sure. But we're talking about 3 big acquisitions to this team. And I mean, they've largely.
Well, what about our boy Gino? Let's give Gino some credit here because Gino's been doing.
I mean, I was taking the route of the disappointing and we'll give, it's hard to be positive right now, but yeah, Gino has been a bright spot. His defense, especially. And he's essentially replaced Kyle Seager. But the thing about last year's team, if you guys remember, it was pretty much the top 3 of the lineup. It was France, Haniger, and Kyle Seager. But Kyle Seager's he's more of a run producer than Gino was. And I think Gino's defense this year has been better. But last year, the clutchness of Kyle Seager, he might have batted 210, 215, but he had some big home runs that we won the game 2-1 and he hit a 2-run bomb and, he was worth a win that day. This lineup is pretty much just France and Crawford at the top. And then it's just a whole bunch of nothing. I mean, lately the bottom of the lineup's been coming around a little bit. We're seeing good signs from Cal Raleigh. Taylor Trammell has shown flashes, but for the most part, it's if France doesn't go 3 for 4 and Crawford, 2 for 4, this team has no chance. I mean, it's this whole last week, you'd look 0 runs and it's 0-0 on the 6th. It's like, there's another thing of like, that I want to talk about. Maybe I'll get to it later, but it's with the, how hitters get in a streak and they say hitting's contagious, right? Well, when you're not hitting it goes the same way. It's contagious as well. And that's a bigger point that I want to get to later, but your thoughts, Chris.
Well, as I said on last episode, what scared me was when the Mariners get the bases loaded and Daniel Kramer, he tweeted this out. He tweets out their slash line for the Mariners with the bases loaded this year. He says the Mariners are now hitting a 160, 193, 260. That's their slash line with 13 strikeouts and 0 home runs in 50 at-bats with the bases loaded this year. 50 at-bats with the bases loaded. We don't have 1 grand slam. 13 strikeouts and we're batting 160. That's so... it's just obviously just not what you want. And it sucks because every time it seems like they're grounding into a double play every single time. But the coolest thing about this last series that we had was the fire alarm went off in the middle of the game, in the middle of one of Ty France's at bats. And as that fire alarm was going off, it was just the absolute perfect metaphor for this shitstorm of a season that we're having with the Seattle Mariners. And it ended up going off again for like a millisecond, but then they turned it off really, really quickly. But I thought that was really funny. And hey, Max, welcome. Max is just popping in, everybody. Probably can't hear us yet because he's quite hungover from Cabo. He got back super late last night. So the way he's feeling is probably a metaphor for how the rest of everybody else is feeling of our Seattle Mariners. What do you say to that, Max?
I say copy that. That's affirmative.
You have COVID?
I don't. I have something. I don't know. I'm probably gonna.
Oh, you didn't go to Cabo. You were in Vegas.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. I misspoke. So, tell us, did you win any money?
Yes and no.
Did you come out even? Did you come out above, below? What is it?
I certainly didn't come out even. What is this?
This is kind of fun. Let him talk.
At the tables, I won money.
Oh, but there's other places. Yeah. Oh, right. Where the people dance, where you spent a lot of money. Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
What's the damage?
Is this going in the podcast?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No, we're live, maybe.
We're live, Max. This is definitely going to the podcast.
This cannot be on the record, dude.
Like, well, then just keep it to yourself.
It is like it's a
just keep it PG-13, Max.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not gonna say anymore.
Well, here, I'll say this.
I spent too much money in Vegas.
That's how it always happens, man. And it sounds like you may have, did what I did. You may have given them a lot of money, the economy of Las Vegas. And then in return, you may have gotten COVID. Yeah. Is that what it's feeling like?
Well, after I'm done with this, I'm going to do one of two things. I'm going to go back to bed or I'm going to take an at-home COVID test, and it's probably going to tell me something I don't want to hear.
Speaking of those things real quick, just kind of a PSA, which I found out the other day. I went and got an at-home COVID test from the store. It's like $13 a pop, nothing crazy, but still, $13, apparently there's, for all of you Washingtonians, there's a website where you can just order, once a month, a surplus of them for free. And so don't go to the stores and buy them and give your money to the stores, because you can get them for free. So just quick PSA for you there. Thought I'd share that. And also, before we talk anymore, the reason that Max and I do not have work today is because of the holiday Juneteenth. And quick shout out to the holiday of Juneteenth because of what it represents, the emancipation of slavery. And so that is some big stuff that can't go unnoticed. Very important holiday in the history of America, and something that nobody should forget. And so, keep that top of mind. But moving forward, just talk about something more bright that doesn't have anything to do with the Mariners, but it has something to do with baseball, more specifically softball, even more specifically beer league softball. Our Figurehead Brewing softball team finally had our opening day. And I know so many of you guys care about this just as much as me, probably not. But the first 2 weeks of the season, Mother Nature was raining. As we all know, we have not had a summer yet, which sucks, but we finally had our opening day. We had a doubleheader, and Figurehead Brewing absolutely shoved it. But what I want to talk about is the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of. In the first inning of the second game, new team in the league, not us, it's the people we're playing. It's their first game ever in this league. First inning, we had 6 solo home runs against these guys. And it was, Max, it was the most electric thing that we've ever been a part of. Leadoff homer, and then the next guy gets out, and then there's 2 homers in a row, again, both solos, and then I was the 5th guy up. And I'm not a strong guy, as you guys can, if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see me, I'm kind of a twig, but I'll work on that. And I'm going up to bat, and I'm like, guys, I'm not going to hit a homer. Like, I can't do it, And then lo and behold, I freaking pimp one to right field, and I'm high stepping around the bases because everybody knew it was a home run. I knew it was a home run. I'm running my tail off. And then another guy behind me hit a home run afterwards. And we were losing our minds. After the game, the umpire goes up to our coach and he goes, you guys need to start joining some tournaments. Like, you are like the best team I've ever seen. And we're like, oh my God, talk to us. It was just the biggest compliment you could ever receive. So if you guys are sick and tired of going to the Mariners baseball games and seeing them lose, Friday nights, Green Lake, you can watch Figurehead Brewing shove it and play some really good ball. Another PSA there. But back on track. Mike Trout. Hi, Dad.
I love Mike Trout.
God, the dude's got 52 home runs against us in his career, which is the most. I think it's tied for the most ever for any player against any other team. And every single home run he hit, except for one, was to essentially put the Angels in the lead, and they never looked back. So it's been a hell of a weekend. We went to Evan and I did to the doubleheader, which honestly I still had a good time. Like I think like my thought process right now for going to these games, from like here on out at least, is just to talk with other people who are there to have fun and watch baseball, and not necessarily even see the Mariners win, because we're not going to see a win. Yeah, unless something crazy dramatic happens. We're not. We won one game against the Angels over 4 games. In the Angels,
5.
Was it 5 games?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
5 games.
5.
Great. Even better. One game. And granted, we scored 8 runs in that game, but we got shut out twice. Was it 3 times that they shut us out? Yeah. Hey, the bats, they're quiet. They are sleeping. They ain't making noise. They have Z's over them. It's so depressing. But my viewpoint on going to the games now is like, all right, I'm hitting the Garden, and I'm going to soon be talking with other random strangers and having a good time. Well, and also the Garden actually was shut down. It was rented out both games that we were there, which was really annoying.
What?
Yeah, man.
It's annoying
like
as shit.
Both games on the weekend, on the doubleheader, they're rented out, and there's like 20 people in there. I'm like, come on, guys.
What did you,
Chris, tell them about your story about trying to get into the beer garden for the second game.
Oh yeah. So the second game, my phone was like dead, and in the beer garden, on the rail, if you get the front row, you can charge your phone. And so I was like, I just need to get in there for like 20 minutes just to charge my phone. And so I go in up to the people there, and I'm like, hey, like I'm here for the event. They're like, show us your ticket. I was like, yeah, I got you. And I pull up my e-ticket, and they're like, no, it's a paper ticket. I was like, oh, like my boss didn't give it to me. I swear I'm a part of this event. They're like, what's the name of it? And like, I said the name because it was literally right there, like on a sign. And he's like, I need your paper ticket. Like you just read the sign. And I was like, well, you asked me the name. Like, I don't know. Like, sorry, how else did you want me to respond? And the buddy that I was with just ended up like leaving. He's like, all right, we're obviously not getting in. And then, I gave up, and we didn't get in.
Oh, so you were just a smart ass to a guy that was working there.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
What did you have to do in between games? Did they make you like leave the stadium?
They did, yeah. Like typically at a doubleheader, right? The second game will be 40 minutes after the first.
Right.
This one, I don't know, for whatever reason it wasn't. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours after. First one started at 1:10, second at 7:10, right? And so after the first game, we just went to the bar and we drank, and then we drank some more. We went to Hooverville. Yeah, I think. Yeah. We're at Hooverville. A great spot, lots of fun, good drinks, and they were doing a kind of a promo. I got a new hat. It was, those pink neon hats they got.
Yeah,
they had yellow kind of neon hats that they were giving away.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you had to. You remember, like, as a kid going to the games with your dad, and there'd always be that table or some tables around. It's like, you give us your email, you get a free whatever.
Right.
And sometimes it was like, you give us your email, or sometimes it's like you buy this, Comcast Xfinity TV package, and then you get the free gift. And as a kid, you're like, oh, I don't know. Apparently, if you just sign something, you get something free. Why would we not do this? Sometimes you had to actually buy some shit. But in this case, it was give them your email, sign up for like 2 free tickets round trip to like any baseball park where the Mariners are going. And then you get a chance to like win money as well. Like all of it was a chance just to win shit. And then you got a free hat. So, we obviously signed up for that stuff, and who knows, maybe the boys at Monday Mojo are going to get some free round ticket trips to wherever.
When do they announce the winner? Whatever.
I believe at the next weekend.
Oh
yeah. So I've been lucky before.
I've been lucky back from Vegas. I'm still feeling lucky.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you had much luck while you were there, bud. But anyways,
wait. I've been meaning to ask, like, Zweifel, I love that we have someone that had optimism before we came into, this previous week. But like now that, because you were always the one that was like, all right, guys, like, it's okay. Our schedule's going to lighten up. We're going to get some W's. We're going to win some series. We're going to get some sweeps. And, I thought I was supposed to be the quiet one on this episode, but like, what do you have to say for yourself?
I don't know. I have like a 2-minute rant, but
dude, I'm waiting for that to happen.
All right. Hey, floor is yours, my guy. Rant away.
All right. So yes. Yeah. I was optimistic, and obviously it was a horrible week. I mean, the offense is clearly the problem. They can't get anything going. We have two guys in on our team that consistently hit, and everyone else is like, it's not even like you get another two guys one night. It's like 7 other guys are just falling asleep, and maybe you get one of them. But so this team, they really are, the stats do say that on base percentage wise, we're in the middle of the pack with guys on first or no one on base. We're like one of the best teams in baseball at like getting a guy on. And obviously it's overstated and everyone knows the biggest problem is hitting with runners in scoring position. But another thing I've noticed, diving into the stats is like, dude, this team was supposed to be, we'd have a little bit of sneaky pop, but like where are the doubles at? Like, that's how, like when baseball's flowing and you get a guy on second and then the guy who comes up to the plate hits one in the gap and he replaces him, dugout's going wild. And then maybe all it takes is a single to get that guy in. And now you put up a crooked number on the scoreboard and there's 2 runs in an inning. When you're the way this team is playing is we get walks and we're moving station to station and we get a single, but then, we crap our pants when we got a guy on second or third and we can't get him in. But I mean, like the guys we added, Jesse Winker last year, 32 doubles. I mean, that's a great number. You have over 25 doubles. You're a gap hitter.
Yeah.
He had 32 doubles. Adam Frazier, he's considered a singles hitter, right? By most people, you would think, right? Last year, he had 36 doubles. And for a while for the Padres, for the Pirates, before he got traded to the Padres, he led the NL in doubles. Now, that was earlier on in the season, but I mean, 36 doubles on the year. He had more than Jesse Winker. And then you're looking, another guy who has that kind of potential, Kyle Lewis, he's been out. Haniger, that kind of potential, he's been out. Saw that last year with Kelnick at the end of the year, slapping balls into the gap. I mean, there's 5 guys that should be putting up extra base hits for us that are out of the lineup. So you could flip that and look at it as, well, there's some optimism there. But also, Jesse Winker, like we kind of talked about at the very beginning, he hasn't had a good week. It looks like he struggles to hit the ball out of the ballpark. I saw one of the at bats, and I was texting my buddy. It's actually Jude, who's a constant Monday Mojo listener. He was like, "Dude, I can't believe that ball didn't go out." And I was like, "Dude, oh my god, same thing. I thought that ball was pimped on, and it gets caught like." Midway out to the, doesn't even go to the track. Bottom line is he's getting under every ball. He used to be a guy that was a line drive hitter. He'd use all parts of the field. Now he's pulling everything and hitting it sky high and it's going nowhere. My main point is this team just gets walks and singles, and that's not how you're going to win games. We're 15th in home runs. So every now and then we hit a friggin' solo shot, but there's no variety in how we're scoring runs. It's just either we walk, get a single, strike out, pop up, or occasionally hit a home run. That's just not going to do it. And especially with these other 3 guys out. I mean, I hope that when they come back, Haniger comes back, Lewis comes back. Lewis is another guy I wanted to ask you guys about. I mean, is that a little fishy to you guys, the situation there? I mean, he gets hit in the head. It's a concussion. But now Jerry's talking like he's talking about him in the same vein as he's talking about Haniger. Like there's no timetable for him coming back. And I remember he hit a ball in one of the first 2 games that he came back. And I know you guys saw it too. He was running from first to third and going around second. The camera pans to him. It looks like he was struggling to run. It's like, did they bring him back too early and he re-injured his knee? That's honestly what I'm thinking.
I was wondering the same thing. Because I know with baseball, you can pretty much, you don't have to give like a legitimate reason to why somebody goes onto the IL or why you're taking them out. With that being said, it does seem when Kyle Lewis got hit, as he was moving out of the way, the helmet was kind of popping off his head and it hit his shoulder. The ball hit his shoulder and then it popped up to his head. Concussions, man, like it's so difficult to really understand how severe a concussion really can be. And if there's a baseball coming at you 90 miles per hour plus, it hits you in the head. I mean, depending on especially where it hits you, I mean, that could cause some fucking damage. That can really mess you up. And so I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, he should be back. He should definitely be back. Like this concussion should be no problem. It's been over 2 weeks. Concussions are legit. And, baseball is unlike football. They're going to be more cautious about it. They're going to make sure that person is 100% ready to come back before we bring him back. And so I'm not going to say that he should be back. I wish he was back. And if it's legit and it's not a leg issue, and I don't know why they'd hide that, right? Like what's the point of hiding that? I don't know if there is a good point of hiding that. So I don't know.
Just to add on that too, I got a source who is telling me that Lewis also has a history of concussions. So I think he's had a previous one before. So I think when you have a second one, you obviously want to be cautious with that. And so I think they're taking it slower with that. So I just want to throw that out there. But I want to transition because we haven't talked about it yet, but this is a good place to kick off with it. Our bullpen situation, definitely frustrating as well. But Ryan Divish was tweeting out that Sergio Romo and Elias have both been DFA'd and Ken Giles has been activated from the IL and Kevin Padlo called up. So
yeah. Okay. When did that happen? Was that this morning?
Yeah.
Okay.
10:30.
Oh, wow. Oh, shoot. 15 minutes ago.
Breaking news on Monday Mojo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Padlo's the guy that we added to the roster when we DFA'd Steckenrider. So, and I think none of us really liked that. I was like, dude, why do we need another middle infielder? But now Toro can't hit. I'm willing to throw in another bat. Let's see what Kevin Padlo can do. Dial him up.
It's crazy. I'm like wondering what else as we're recording this episode here at 10:30 in the morning on Monday, and there could be by the time this episode actually gets pushed out to the public, there could be a lot of other moves made, and I don't know if firing Scott is the right move.
No.
I don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. But with the team playing,
where would you have gotten that thought?
It's what I've been thinking about for like last night. I was thinking about this. It's like I knew we were recording today during Monday, and we have an off day today, and obviously we're playing like shit, and so moves have to be made. And there's 2 that just happened with Sergio Romo. I wanted him to be good because he's just such a good guy, and his entire mantra, I guess, or his persona, it's a fun guy to have in the clubhouse. But damn, dude, what is he, like 39? He's old. I don't know if he's 39, but he's had 19 years.
Old as shit.
That's old as shit. He's had 19 seasons, in the MLB, and he's pitched and closed out multiple World Series games. He won a couple with the Giants. So he's got the experience. This is like, when we first got him, this is going to be a great pickup because it's going to be that veteran leadership that teams have to have within their clubhouse. However, that veteran leadership in Sergio Romo decided to give up a shit ton of home runs. And everything he was doing wasn't working. So yeah, it makes sense that he's gone. But really, dude, I mean, I really am wondering, like, Scott, dude, he might be gone, man. He might be gone by the end of today.
There's literally a 0% chance.
0%? I don't know.
Zero.
Man.
I would say zero if we lose the next 10 games. Still 0.
That's so wrong.
Yeah,
dude.
What are you talking about?
Jerry and Servais are in this thing together. It is a friendship before it's maybe not, but it is it's a very, well, I didn't say it. I pulled myself back, but it is a very, very close situation. And dude, DePoto put these guys on the field, and DePoto's guys aren't performing. It's not a Scott Servais situation. So can you imagine Jerry, who's in charge of all baseball operations, firing Scott Servais and then being like, sorry, Scott, none of the guys I gave you are working out. It's your fault. It's like, no, hell no. Jesse Winker has sucked. Adam Frazier has sucked. Haniger's hurt. Lewis came back and now he's hurt. Kelnick has sucked. There's nothing. Robbie Ray hasn't been very good. The bullpen has fallen apart on him, has been injured. It's not a Scott Servais issue. Has Scott done some things like, leaving Winker at the top of the lineup for too long that I didn't like? Yeah, he's done some things that, like any manager in a season can be questioned, but this is not a team that's going to push the panic button after, you have a bad homestand.
Okay, but sure. But with that, hold on, Max. Hold on, Max.
You guys
so after we won against the Angels 8-1, that game was the first game this year that JP Crawford, I think it was the first game this year that he batted leadoff. Maybe it wasn't, but he batted leadoff. We went 8-1. After that game, in the press conference, post-game press conference, Scott Servais is saying how JP Crawford is going to be the number one hole for the considerable time moving forward. The next game, Julio Rodriguez is in the one hole. It's the next game. He literally just completely didn't do what he said he was going to do the day before after we went 8-1. And so it's like, dude, why would you even say that? Why would you even say that if you're not going to do it? It's just little things like that. I don't know.
Well, wasn't JP scratched because he had was that the game that he didn't play because he had he had food poisoning? So that might have been the reason. I think that was the game.
No, he played.
Well, yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but one of the games, JP was out with food poisoning. Then Ty France was out. Even if that's the case, to me, that's a mistake. If that was the case that he said
Crawford
that.
He was in both games, man. I'm looking at it right now.
Sure. Okay. So it's a mistake. I mean, to fire your coach that you guys just had an electric season last year. This season has gotten off to a horrible start. No one's arguing that. You do have some injuries that you can point to, and you have two guys that you were really counting on that you were adding to this team that they've been terrible, and you're subtracting a Kelnick. I mean, that's enough to justify why this team hasn't been very good. And it would be different if all these guys were healthy and they were coming out with no energy. It looked like they didn't even want to play. And it's like, dude, we need someone who can get these guys fired up. They're all pissed off. This team doesn't lack heart. It's this whole thing that I wanted to get to this as well. As we talk about, hitting being contagious. And Max, that's funny. We talk about hitting being contagious, right? And that goes both ways. If you guys are on a cold streak or a hot streak, when you're on a hot streak, let's just look at it this way. You hit a double into the gap. Guy picks you up immediately. Energy's going. The next guy coming up to the plate, there's a guy on first. The pitcher's feelings are the exact opposite of you. He's getting tighter. You're getting looser. Everyone's building off of each other. When Winker goes to the plate and he strikes out and he slams the bat, and then he walks by Frazier, and Frazier's walking up to the batter's box. More pressure on Frazier. Frazier pops it up, and then we strike out, especially when there's guys on third and second, and then everyone just exhales like shit, like we did it again. And then this keeps repeating. Everyone is in the same spot mentally besides Crawford and France. They're all just collectively, and maybe Cal Raleigh's been okay, but they're all. Julio's been good, but he hasn't had, he's a rookie in the league. He's still having his ups and downs. He's only batting 2, which is good for a rookie, but he's not completely crushing it stats wise. I mean, 267. He's been fine. He's been very good for a rookie, but there's only one guy that can really carry this team offensively, and he's having a hard time doing it, and that's Ty France. You need more people. It's baseball. There's 9 players on this team. I mean, Julio, yeah, if you had more guys like Julio or Frazier that were batting 260, a bunch of guys batting 260, it works. But you have a Toro who comes up, maybe that's 160, and then, you're turning it over to another guy who's in an 0 for 16 slump. And it's like, dude, this team is just, it's on them. It's on the players. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it blows my mind because before Sunday's game, after we lose both doubleheaders, apparently we had a team meeting, and people were, I don't know, like how aggressive they were with calling each other out. Maybe they were just like, hey, collectively, we got to figure this out, do better. They get shut out. And I think 2 hits that next game. It's like, okay, obviously that conversation didn't do nothing because you guys still continued to do nothing that, on Sunday or whatever it was. And it's brutal, man. It's brutal. It's brutal to watch. And like, I'm still going to be watching. I'm still going to be putting myself through this misery because it just hurts so fucking good. And I love it, but I hate it at the same time. But I still love it more than I hate it. So I'm still going to be there. And I just want, I don't know. The thing that sucks about Jerry Dipoto is he's not going to be the first in this trade market to open up. I guess I should say he's not going to be the first one to open up the trade market. He's not going to start that precedent of like, what's the price for people getting shopped. He's going to wait for somebody else to do that so then he can have an understanding of what the market price looks like. And then he'll adjust accordingly. I think he needs to set the precedent if he has any hope and any belief that this thing can somehow get turned around. But
I wouldn't rule out a small deal. Like, it wouldn't make sense right now if Kyle Lewis is going to come back. But if we find out that Kyle's not coming back, and I could see it happening, I could honestly see in the next couple weeks a tweet coming up and saying that he's being moved to the 60-day DL and don't expect him back, and whatever. Go and making a move like Nelson Cruz, because we can't do any worse in the DH spot. And if Kyle Lewis is coming back, then yeah, he plays DH. But I could see a small move like that. But I agree with you. We're not going to go out and make some big, organization changing move, and set the market like you're talking about.
And then, yeah, I mean, having Abraham Toro, it seems like over like 50% of the games he's been as our DH. And Abraham Toro as our DH is batting an awesome 172. It's not awesome. He's so bad. I don't understand how you could be that bad and still be having every single day you're getting at bats. I just don't understand it. I mean, at this point where we're at the season, we're playing so poor. Fuck it. Bring Kelenic back up. Give him ABs again. Like, it seems like we have nothing to lose. And so with him just sitting down there in AAA and we're giving at bats to Abraham Toro at DH, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Upton has one hit, and I know he got hit in the head. And kudos to him for coming back the next game after getting hit in the head. He finally got a double, but he's got one hit in like 4 or 5 games. Sure, like very slow start. But
is Jared Kelenic still raking down in AAA?
He's doing all right. Yeah, he hasn't had a slump.
Yeah.
So he started off like extremely hot. I think he maybe cooled off a tiny bit. But
what if you could send Toro down and then it's like a Terrence last year where he was just god awful, but you sent him down, and Terrence went to AAA and then he came back and then he was just a slugging machine. I mean, Toro isn't that type of hitter, but Toro can get going, and he was a good utility guy for us last year. I would send Toro down and just let him take a breath. You want to throw these guys on a life raft when they're drowning, you don't keep throwing them out there into big league games and expect, something different to happen.
No, you can't. And that's what we're doing. But that's exactly what we're doing. Oh, let's move them in the lineup a spot or two. Oh, let's take them out from the infield or outfield, put them in DH. We're making those little moves and still putting them and giving them steady at bats, and they're still continuing to produce in the wrong direction. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just don't understand it. And I want to.
The Jesse Winker thing is so mind-blowing. You could have put him down in ink at the beginning of the year to be, if not our best hitter, right there with Ty France and Haniger. I mean, those three, it should have been in red ink. These guys are going to produce. It's about the rest of the guys. And dude, he just looks like he is a completely different hitter. He's popping everything up. And he's got a little bit of that Kelenic thing where his bad energy after it bats is rubbing off on other guys. And I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's in a new city. He's trying to produce. I've heard him on interviews. He's about as likable as you can be. I really like the guy. And I actually do think that, he will come around, but it's like, dude, we really can't be waiting. It's too late in the season to say that there's a bunch of games left. Like, yeah, there's 100 games left, but it's supposed to be an easy part of the schedule right now. And we just blew it at home. What do we go? 2-8, 3?
Yeah, dude. 2-8.
And okay, whatever. The Red Sox and the Twins, good teams. But this Angels team that came in, no Rendon, all right? All they have is Ohtani and Trout, 2 big players in that lineup. they're whatever, Brandon Marsh or whatever his name is, and Taylor Walsh and Taylor Ward, a bunch of these guys, they're okay. But you could have pitched around and found the holes and exposed them. And we pretty much did. It was just Trout that, he won every game against us. But it's like, dude, this team had won 2 out of 20 games, and they came into your park and won 4 out of 5. I mean, the doubleheader you guys went to, I felt bad for you. I was supposed to come up and watch that game with you. And I mean, the only good thing about that was like, God, I'm glad I didn't make that trip.
I'm glad I didn't have to jump into the Puget Sound. We made that bet that if we won both games, I have to go off to the pier and jump into the Puget Sound. And that got ruined right after the first game. So
you should have said, if the Mariners score 1 run, I'll jump into the Puget Sound. And then you would have still been cleared. For the second game.
Yeah, for the second game.
Yeah.
We scored 2 in the first. But all thanks to Dylan Moore. I think he scored both. But I guess, all right, coming up next. The schedule gets easier, I guess. I don't know. Oakland, and then we go to Oakland, and then we go to Anaheim, and then we host after that Baltimore, and again the Athletics. I mean, this should be such an easy time. It may be such an easy time for the other teams, though.
It is time, boys, and I've said it last week, but now it's really time. And we posted that on Monday Mojo, and actually Robbie Ray came out and won. I'm not big on in June saying this is a must-win game, but it felt like it was a must-win game, and he went out. Every
game for the rest of the season is an absolute must-win game. It's every series is a must-win series, and I guarantee you, no, I'm not going to say that. Every series is a must-win series.
I heard a good analogy, right? So, a baseball season is like walking up an escalator that's going down, right? In the beginning, everyone starts in the middle. And, if you walk fast enough up an escalator that's going down, you can get to the top. You just have to walk fast enough. So everyone is in the middle. When you start to lose, you start to fall down the escalator a little bit. And the bottom is death, right? It's like lava. So if you get to the bottom, season over.
The floor is lava?
Yeah. We are about 3/4 down the escalator, and we're going the wrong way. We have to get back to the middle. We have to get back to 500 quickly, or else these other teams are going to be all the way up the escalator, and they're going to get to the top, and they're going to get to the playoffs and secure playoff spots. And we're going to, we can't afford a losing streak when we're 9 games under 500. We can't continue. We have to.
We haven't had a winning streak in I don't know how long, 3 games in a row. I can't tell you the last time we won 3 games in a row, because I don't think it hasn't happened this month. No, it has not happened this month. Not once. So we haven't gone on a winning streak in over a month. And that's where you're going to just shoot yourself in the foot, and you're going to kill yourself. And figuratively speaking, of course.
It's really funny to watch you scan your screen and you're looking for a winning streak, and you're like, no, we don't have one.
We don't. And we played Baltimore, we played the Rangers, then the Astros, and the Red Sox, and the Twins, and now the Angels, and now coming up the A's. It's like, if we can't get 3 wins in a row, especially from the second half of this month, where we start with the Angels and end with the A's, if we can't win 3 games in a row, and including we got Baltimore in that as well, you're not a good baseball team. And we're not a good baseball team. We suck. Let's be crystal clear about that. We are a terrible baseball team right now. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't feel good saying that, but I'm just going to look reality in the face and get slapped a couple of times. But damn, it's doing nothing with a lot of opportunity to play shit teams to do something. But now we just don't do nothing.
I mean, when you're talking about a team that's in this type of offensive struggle, I mean, this isn't who the Mariners are. This is the worst version of the Mariners. So, yeah, we can say that
it is who they are, because it's what we are. It is. It's exactly what we are.
They haven't been. I'm talking about this version. I mean, this where it's like 0-0-0. I mean, earlier we were bad, but this is like, this last week was like some of the worst baseball I've ever seen.
See, that's why something dramatic needs to happen, dude. And like every time something dramatic like this situation, who's the scapegoat? Who's the one getting the blame? It's always the manager. And I'm not saying it's the manager's fault.
No, it's Jesse Winker. Winker.
Sure. But I'm not saying it's the manager's fault. But in these situations, that's the person, that's the person who gets the hammer. That's the person who gets chopped off. And I mean, shit, man, it's 11:05 a.m. right now. Pacific time in Seattle, Washington on Monday, June 20th. There could be something happening where Jerry, I know they're friends, him and Scott, they've been friends, and that's the reason Scott has this job. I mean, I really think that we might be seeing, a head get chopped off, and that head, Scott Servais.
Yeah, that might have been a bad thing to say. I didn't necessarily mean that them being friends would save his job. I was just saying that, I think that he has a lot of trust in Scott Servais. I think Scott is not only a manager, but he's also very good with young players, and they have an organizational philosophy that they built together. I think it's going to take a lot more than a rough start to a promising year, which we all thought it was going to be. I think it's going to take a lot more than that. And you're talking about in the worst week of a year that hasn't gone that well. That would be a very, sudden move to do. And I'm not expecting anything like that.
I don't know, man. You see the Angels did it, obviously. You see the Phillies did it. The Phillies did it, and then they go on to win 9 in a row after Joe Girardi gets fired.
Joe Madden is also, he's a guy that doesn't look at analytics and the game is completely gone to analytics. And sure, that works if you're just going off your gut and you're winning games, but he couldn't back anything up. They'd lost 14 in a row, and there was obvious stuff. They're like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? And he's like, well, let's just, not my gut. That's pretty much how he manages.
You know what he did do? Joe Madden gave himself a mohawk and was going to go into the clubhouse after they had lost their 14th in a row to try and have that turn it around. But before he could even get to the clubhouse, he got fired. So he just shaved himself a mohawk for no reason, which I thought was kind of funny. But so with Scott Servais, man, everything that he says for his reasoning when stuff goes wrong is we trust the data. We trust the analytics. That's what we're looking at. It's all right, Scott, if we want to get some Joe Schmo off the street and have him make the decisions based specifically off of data, anybody can read data and make a decision based off of that. Anybody. You don't even have to ever have any experience in the MLB. No. So I want Scott to start going with his gut a little bit more and making decisions with his head and rather just the numbers. And he's not doing that. And so when he's going in post game after post game and he's saying, oh yeah, no, we looked at the data. We're going to continue to trust the data. It's all right, any asshole can do that, man. Start managing as a manager and don't just only look at the data. I understand that numbers are important. Numbers sometimes never lie, but apparently the data that you're going with is wrong because it keeps giving us the wrong results. And so he's got to do something different, man. And if he's going to continue going into the post game saying, the boys got to be better. Boys got to start playing better. They got to start hitting, he keeps saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And we keep getting the same fucking result, losing. Not scoring any runs. It's driving me nuts, man. He's pissed me off. He's been here since 2015, and I'm getting fed up with this, man. I'm getting fed up with it. I've been a believer of the duo of Jerry and Scott since they freaking came in, since their inception. I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm feeling anymore.
Listen, you know who Jeff Passan is, right?
Yes, I know.
You like Jeff Passan, right?
Yeah, we're making him look like an asshole because he said before this season even started that he said the Mariners are going to be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. And we are a force to everybody wants to play us right now. Everybody's like, let's go play the Mariners and kick their ass because it's going to be really easy to head over for us and make it so we don't have to do nothing. I
also like Jeff Passan, right? And he has said the same thing that perplexes you, that perplexes Max, Evan, everyone in the league thought Jesse Winker would be great. He has been terrible. That's a huge piece to our team. We didn't know Haniger was going to miss time. Frazier is also one of those guys who's not a high profile player, but you can mark him down to be a B- second baseman for you.
He's an F. He's an F- second baseman right now.
Yeah, all of that has gone wrong, and I'm not ready to throw this team out. It is right now or never. But this is the last time I'm saying it. This is the last time that I'm going to say that we have any inkling of hope. If we don't get this shit together this week and take 5 ball games out of 7, take the we're playing Oakland next, right?
No, we're playing Oakland and then the Angels again.
So that's 6 games. Take 4 out of 6. You have to. Absolutely have to, or this season is slipping away because we're getting further and further down the escalator, and there's just going to be no time to make it up.
Dude, there almost is no time to make it up. It's sure, fine. June 20th. This is the last time we could say it. This is the last time where it's, do or die. After this, if we don't win, if we if we go 2-6, season's over. Damn. I'm saying that. If we go 2-6, season is way over, especially with
how many games out are we of the wild card, the last wild card?
Let's take a gander.
Because if it was last year and there wasn't another wild card added, this season is already over, and we're talking about selling players right now. It's June 20th. It's not early.
We're 8 games back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Only 13 back of Houston though.
8 games back, and the teams in front of us are shitty. The Orioles, the Rangers, the Angels.
Stop it. The Orioles are in front of us right now?
Yes.
Oh man, that's a fun stat.
and the Guardians, I don't believe in either. Okay, so we're 8 games out.
I think the Guardians are gonna stay hot.
No, fuck you, Max.
I think they got a chip on.
The Guardians are one back in Minnesota right now.
Yeah, dude. I think we can count.
You got to be a believer in the
Guardians as
okay, this is not a Guardians podcast, boys. And I'm telling you,
should we start talking about the Guardians?
Yeah.
I'm telling you that shitty logo ain't gonna hold up.
Dude, it's a terrible mascot name, but they're hot.
What are they even guarding? I think the Guardians would be something in DC.
Dude, as soon as they lost the Indians name, the rest of the league was that's a shitty mascot, and they lost.
Some people like it.
Well, yeah, maybe, but it's
I kind of like how Indians, Guardians. It made it a smooth transition, but I think the logo's trash, and I think we're about done with this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Before we go down any more rabbit holes.
All right, guys. June 20th, 2022.
Last time we can say it.
It's the last time we can say it. It's do or die time. Do or die time for the Seattle Mariners. They've got to get, at least in my mind, one sweep over these 2 shitty teams that we're going to be playing. The Angels again, and then obviously coming up next, starting tomorrow on Tuesday, is against Oakland Athletics. So let's go, Seattle Mariners. How about you light a fire under your ass? How about you do something crazy? And how about you start winning baseball games? How about you start scoring runs? All right, let's start there. Start scoring some runs and stop getting shut out. Use your bats, get your feet across the plate, put some points on the board. That's what we need. So I'm looking forward to watching every game like I always do and getting really pissed off at the television like I have been this entire month. But I still love you a lot, Seattle Mariners. And, I know that you don't love me back, but I don't care. I'll still love you. That's what makes it hurt so good. So that's all for me. And as always, go Mariners, and let's turn this ship around.